Good morning. Today's video is going to be a second part to the intermittent fasting. So I did a video a few days ago on intermittent fasting and how it's worked for me, and I just wanted to share all those details with everybody else. So and the reason I'm doing part 2 is because I got asked a lot of questions from part 1, and I don't think I covered everything in enough detail. So obviously I left a few gaps of information, so I just want to run through that with you so that obviously there's quite a few of you that have asked me questions because you're wanting to start and you want to do it right. So we'll crack into it. Where I left off. Okay, so here we go. So you're either going to do an 18-6 or a 16-8. So what that means is 18 hours that you are not going to eat. 6 hours that you are going to eat. Or 16 hours you are not going to eat, and 8 hours you are going to eat. What does that mean? You choose. So obviously, if you are going to crack into this one here, you're probably going to lose a little bit more weight a little quicker. If you're going to start with this one here, you're still going to lose weight. Definitely. It just may not be quite as fast. However, when you first start off, the first few days, yeah, okay, it can be a little bit of a push through. So particularly those morning hours from the time you've woken up, you've fasted since 5 or 6 p.m. the night before, you're getting pretty hungry around 8, 9, 10 o'clock, you may not be able to go immediately to this one. Okay, so you might want to start down here, or you might even want to start with a 12 and 12. Your first day, the next day make it, what have we got? Extended by an hour. So the next day do 13 hours where you're fasting, and the next day do 14 hours when you're fasting, and the next day 15 hours until you can get to 16 hours. And once you've cracked this one, honestly, it just becomes a breeze. So I've just broken my fast this morning, so we've just had porridge at 11 o'clock. So that's it, my feeding window is open and I'm ready to go. So that's fasting lengths, okay? So that's what you want to aim for, and it's an everyday thing. So it's not something you go, okay, well, I'm going to do this 4 days a week, 5 days a week. You're going to do this every single day of the week. Now, if you fall off the wagon, it doesn't matter. So you might have a day where you think, oh, you know what, I just can't do this today. I haven't got it in me, I'm just really hungry, or you just blow it for whatever reason. Trust me, been there, been down that road. Don't worry about it. Just go with it. And then the next day, start again. It's that simple. You haven't ruined anything. So all you've done is set yourself back a little bit in your progress of your weight loss journey, depending if you are doing it for weight loss, or you're just doing it for health, or you're doing it for both reasons. It doesn't matter. So get back on the horse and crack back into it the following day. So that's about your fasting lengths. Now, I got a few more questions about, well, what can I have in my fasting window? So remember I said from the time you've had your evening meal, and then you might have, like, if you're like me, I like to have a decaffeinated coffee after that, and maybe I'm going to have a bicky or something like that. You've got to have finished that up by, say, 6 o'clock at night if you're going for that fasting length. So that's what I do. When I get up in the morning, of course, the first thing you want to do is drink something. So I'm not strict any longer. Okay, at the start I was a lot more strict. Now I'll have a coffee with a dash of milk in it. If you're just starting out and you want to stick to by the book, get the absolute best results you can, to put yourself into autophagy and cleanse that body and cleanse all the system out, fantastic. So if that's the case, in your fasting window, until you break your fast, these are the only things that you're going to be consuming. Okay, so no food, liquids only, black coffee, absolutely fine, green tea, wonderful because it has antioxidant effects, hot water, squeeze of lemon juice, terrific, or just plain water. So you can have as much of that as you want until your fasting window is over and then your feeding window begins. So that might be 10, 11, 12 o'clock, depending on where you've started and where you're finishing for your day. Okay, the other most important thing, and this is the most important thing of anything, because it keeps you accountable, super important, whether you want to or not. Even if you're really scared of the scales, you have to, if you know you've blown it that day or whatever, get on the scales every single morning at roughly the same time and record it. So, for example, there's mine. So, every day, without fail, whether I've been good, bad or indifferent, I record that. Now, it's going to fluctuate around crazy. Don't really take much notice of it. That's not what's really important because you're going to take an average out over a week. But I find, and that's for me, it might work for you, it might not work for you, but it keeps me accountable. And if I stop weighing myself, I kind of pretend it's not happening, if you know what I mean. So I find jump on the scales, more often than not when you're doing this correctly, it's a win. So it's a happy moment anyway. You're like, oh, that's good. I lost 200 grams. Fantastic. So, and the other thing is, keep hydrated. Plenty of water. So make sure you're drinking that throughout the day. What else did I get asked? Oh, about exercise. Okay, so this completely depends on your day-to-day activities. If you sit in an office desk job and you're on your butt all day, then you're going to need to still do some exercise, which you should be doing whether you're fasting or not fasting. Oh, something else that you need to know as well. The most optimal time to get the biggest benefit out of any exercise you do is in the last couple of hours of your daily fast. So before you break a fast, which for me is the hours between sort of 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock in the morning, if you put in a bit of, do some weights or some moderate walking, just whatever exercise floats your boat, you're going to get the best benefits out of that for your body. So there's something, a bit of useless information for you. So exercise and walking, and don't give up because persistence is the key. So don't get disheartened if sometimes you'll plateau. So you'll start off and you'll go, oh, that's great, the first week I lost 2 kilos or whatever, or 2.5 kilos, whatever. And then you'll go along happily and you'll be like, oh, next week, yeah, I lost 1 kilo. And then the week after that, nothing. And then you're like, oh, it's not working. It is working, trust me. Sometimes your body just has a little bit of a plateau and then you carry on and then the following week you'll see weight loss. So, as I said, the daily weigh-in is just to keep you accountable. It's not so much about what you're actually writing down. Make sure you take more of an average of that over a whole week. So I look at it and go, okay, well, what did I weigh last Monday? What did I weigh this Monday? And then work it out from there. So don't look at the daily averages, but make sure you do record them. They will go up and down. And that also depends on what you do eat in your eating window. So that is another thing. that I did briefly touch on, and as I said now, I pretty much eat what I want, but I don't eat for the sake of eating. So, and like for instance, yesterday, we had Charlotte, I was babysitting, we had to go for a trip to the dump and stop at the IGA, so I got Charlotte a little treat, and both Phil and I had one of these little leftover marshmallow Easter eggs. You know, they're about, I don't know, that big. I ate it. I didn't feel bad about it. There is absolutely no point in doing a diet that you deprive yourself of everything for the rest of your life, because you will never stick to it. It is not sustainable in any way, shape or form. That's what I've found anyway. So, you know what, if you really feel like something, just have it. And that's what your window of eating is there for, okay? So that's why we're only eating in that 6-hour period of the day, whereas normally you would have been eating for 12 hours a day, or possibly even more. So if I want a little treat, I'll have a little treat. But if you're starting out and you want to be strict and stick to everything, then of course you're going to want to get your couple of cups of veggies in a day. You want to get your amount of protein that you want in every day, that you need. But you also do need some carbs. Now the other thing is, if you have a heavy carb day, so you've loaded up on carbs, you've been like, man, I had 2 sandwiches today, I had, crackers or whatever it is that you had, you can expect that the next day it's going to show on the scales, because carbs hold water as well. So just be aware, but then that'll even itself out over the next coming days too. So don't panic is what I'm saying. So eat moderately, eat sensibly. If you have a sweet craving and you want a couple of bits of licorice or a couple of squares of chocolate, then you have them in your eating window. But just don't sit there and consume the whole king-size bar. Simple, really. Right, so that's pretty much what I wanted to cover. That's intermittent fasting part 2. 2 more things I want to mention is supplements. Now it's completely up to you whether you take them or not. And I'm just talking about women of my age. Okay, so you may need this, you may not. So I take this for 2 reasons. Bene fibre. If you've tried it, you'll know about it. So I put a teaspoon of this in my coffee in the morning, or I might have a couple of coffees and put a couple of teaspoons in it. So this is just soluble fibre. You cannot taste it, but it boosts your fibre amount for the day, which is also fantastic for cleaning out the system. So I'm trying to lower my bad cholesterol levels. So I want to make sure all the junk is heading out, and that helps me do it. So if you haven't tried it, go and get it. You can't taste it, as I said. It dissolves completely in a cup of coffee. Brilliant stuff. The second reason is, keeps you regular. Winner, chicken dinner. Okay. The next 2, and no, I'm not promoting Swiss vitamins. However, I like them. They work well. Get them on special half price at Woolworths. Fantastic. Whatever. But I take a multivitamin for obvious reasons. Also take a liver detox. Now this one here is, once again, because I want my cholesterol levels to be lower. So at the end of this whole experiment, when I go back and do my bloods, I'm hoping that everything that I've done will do what I need to do to lower the levels naturally, so I can say to the doctor, not doing your statins. So we'll wait and see how that goes. But aside from that, I hope that answers the questions that people have asked me about what they can have to eat in their fasting time, what they can have to drink in their fasting time, and how long and how it all works. So any other questions, shoot them through, and I'll try and cover off on them. Aside from that, just start. That's all you have to do. So just start, and you'll see the results. And I promise you, it is the best type of diet for postmenopausal woman, perimenopausal woman, any woman basically over 40, I think, should be doing intermittent fasting. My opinion, it's been a winner, life changer for me. All right, enjoy your day.